Thank you for calling the Tóxica Tarot hotline. Listen closely because the options can always change. Press 1 if you clocked the lie 3 sentences ago and you're still nodding. Press 2 if you had to rehearse the gas for a divorce you saw coming in March. Press 3 if both sides think you're on their side because you never corrected either one. If you ever been cornered by a friend about their terrible new haircut and described it as a vibe, amiga, stay on the line. Tóxica Tarot is for entertainment purposes only. The host is not a therapist, does not offer readings, and is legally speaking just a rando on the internet. 22 archetypes, 1 card a week. Side effects may include cringe, compassion, and cunty self-care. Tóxica Tarot is Latina made for the girls, gays, and theys. Audience discretion is advised. Hola, hola, hola. Come on in and get comfortable. Get yourself some nice herbal tea. I suggest jasmine for loosening what's been sitting quiet, or marshmallow root for coating what's been raw. Take a deep breath and let's get curious. I'm your host, Carla Corazon, and this is Tóxica Tarot. It's time to meet the High Priestess. This figure is sitting between 2 pillars, one black and one white. Our girl lives in the between space. Very ni de aquí ni de allá. Kind of bisexual coded, to be honest. She's coy with her robe, and the scroll is revealed and concealed. The blue robe matches the blue water, and water represents intuition and reflection. If you've ever met a Leo, you know the sun generates its own light, right? Well, the moon, she's different. The moon makes light by reflecting. Reflecting is very High Priestess type shit. We've got pomegranates that reference Persephone, who was well-traveled and came back with lots of knowledge and unique insights. In this space, we listen and we don't judge, but we do have a Yolanda clause we do need to cover. This clause covers pattern recognition, but not absolution. This is not a hall pass to cause or endure harm. Now let's meet La Silenciada. She's the prima who might be bi-coastal, living in between worlds. Think of the cousin who splits her time, 6 months here, 6 months in España. They maybe don't have the same deep context as the rest of the group chat, but they do bring an incredible tortilla española recipe. In Tóxica Tarot, La Silenciada is the patron tóxica of silently noticing. They're the one in the room who's clocking everything. They're good at weighing their impacts, and they take their time because they value their own mind. There's no rush to verdict here. They're the friend you vent to for an hour, and then they say one sentence, and everything fits. La Silenciada doesn't need a dramatic monologue. They can economize words. Someone asks how they like their new apartment, and they say, cozy. And the whole room hears square footage. Where does a person learn to say that much with that little? La Silenciada learns early that a sentence can drop a room's temperature to 0. They grow up in rooms where speaking comes at a cost. Noticing becomes critical, and deciding when to stay silent becomes a skill. They learn precision the way someone learns how to manage air pressure. Every sentence is carefully calibrated. Think about the youngest sibling in a very busy, loud family. They learn to be quiet. If they time their words correctly and soften the edges, it might keep them safer. Eventually, people start calling them perceptive, measured. The silence they built for protection starts to look like discernment. Fear becomes practice, and practice becomes strategy. They know how to say the right thing, but they also know how to swallow their truth, and it's something that the body doesn't forgive. The important conversations that never found the right time. The cards show her sitting perfectly still, with a story in her lap, only partially revealed. The gift is in understanding the impact. They know how to hold something without spilling it. That's a specific kind of intelligence, from somebody who learned to read the room and every room after it. Healing comes when they understand changing the temperature doesn't mean they're responsible for keeping everyone comfortable. Grab your popcorn because we're going to the movies. It's time for Tóxica Cinema. Gerri Kellman of Succession, general counsel at Waystar Royco for decades. Gerri is wise enough to understand that her number one job is not to be in the room when the Roys ultimately destroy themselves. Gerri watches as Logan plays his children against each other. When everyone is in the room auditioning for the patriarch, Gerri is quietly updating her notebook. She really does toe the line in an inappropriate mess with Roy's youngest son. Gerri survived every Roy and the desmadre of Royco Enterprises. Not by being the loudest or most aggressive, but by being the one they forgot to manage. General Counsel, zero fingerprints, legend. Next we have Sansa Stark of Game of Thrones, daughter of Lord Stark of Winterfell, 15 years old and excited to marry a prince. Then she watches her father die for telling the truth in the wrong room. She stopped talking, and she starts watching. She watched Cersei's control, and she watched Littlefinger's timing. At 15 years old, she was running a complete threat assessment at dinner. She was learning the rules by watching, instead of being told how the game worked. In an environment where errors are deadly, with limited allies, silence becomes a protection spell. Nobody manages what they don't consider a threat. Sansa got to learn the game by watching who it killed. Where's the study group in the Seven Kingdoms? And our girl still passed. It's time to get acquainted with our mythical Tóxica. Cassandra, Greek mythology, daughter of the king of Troy. The girl knew how the story ended before the first weapons were drawn. Apollo gave her prophecy, and then he tried to get fresh with her. She refused him, so he added a penalty. She could keep the sight, but he made sure no one would ever believe her again. She saw the wooden horse rolling up to the front gates at Troy and desperately tried to warn everyone. She was called dramatic and insane. Eventually, she stopped screaming, and she folded her hands and stepped back and let them drag their own destruction into the center of the town. Generally, people don't go silent because they want to. It comes out in an environment that they come up in. Today, we call the denial of someone's truth gaslighting. Before that, it was referred to as the Cassandra complex. Some things are truly timeless. Now, before the lovely operator takes you out, 3 questions. You can choose to share them with a friend or just think about them. What are you calculating right now that you could just say? What are you looking for in someone's face before you decide it's safe? Whose cup has already showed you that it won't spill? Think about it. Thank you for calling the Tóxica Tarot Hotline. This concludes the call. La Silenciada, patron Tóxica of Silently Noticing. Call back next week when we open the line to Hermana Mami, the prima who helps so hard she creates 3 new problems. I gotta go. The neighbors are having a fight and starting to get good, and my popcorn is ready. Remember, not saints, ni tóxicas.